Well, we have a very special and an unusual way of presenting the information. We don't get to see Ben in studio in front of the big board. Welcome, Ben. Maurice, over to you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Yaz. And with Uber statistician Ben Underwood, Ben has been quite busy doing all kinds of crazy stuff that we didn't ask him to do, but he's an independent guy. He can do what he wants. And you come up with some really interesting statistics that you want to share with us.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to get in a bit more into the player analysis. And of course, we have this marquee matchup today between Fabi and Hans. So I wanted to look at how have these players played in the past U.S. championships and rate them on different scales of different categories of their play. So right here, I've got 6 categories right here with this awesome radar chart put together by the production team. So we have the results, overall accuracy, speed, in-game accuracy, preparation, and decisiveness of those games. So of course, results, Fabi has been very, very fortunate in his results in the U.S. championships, and he wins in that category. And then going over to the right, his overall accuracy as well, compared to the opponents, is much higher. So getting into that a little bit between the in-game and overall accuracy. When I was looking at overall accuracy, I wanted to do it in comparison to the opponent. I saw, let's say, Sam Sevion in the Sinkfield Cup, and he had 97, 98% average accuracy through the whole thing, but he finished in all draws, and it didn't really seem to give the full story of, how he was playing in comparison to the opponent. So now I looked at the average surplus in accuracy over the opponent for each game. So Fabi has 2.07 average surplus in accuracy compared to his opponents. Hans only 0.7, but they're both still positive and still playing more accurately than their counterparts.
So 2.07, you've got him at 83%, 83.2% finding the best moves in the endgame.
In the endgame as well. So yes, that 83.2% is just for endgame through the 940 endgame moves that he's played, but that's a huge number. And of course I put in some stipulations, if the engine gave 2 best moves based on the evaluation, I allowed that to be counted as well if they were very close. But I mean, 83.2 is enormous to find the best move that often.
Yeah, breaking down the players, we see Hans at 78.3%, but in the previous 3 U.S. championships, 0.7 accuracy surplus over opponents. He's not done too badly, actually, in the championships.
Not at all. And the average 0.7 surplus is still a very good number. Of course, compared to Fabi, it looks very small, but having a 0.7 surplus in accuracy is huge. Most draws that we see are within 0.5, 0.4. So that 0.7 is showing that he's winning a lot more and playing more accurately.
Okay.
I'll jump to the opening preparation because it's a little bit different than what we are seeing today. So average moves to first deep think, also in surplus to the opponent. So if you're thinking later, you get rated on this green scale right here. So let's take Sam Shankland at the most, for example. If his opponent takes 15 moves before their first deep think, on average, he's deep thinking at move 18 with that +3. So this is kind of showing where in comparison it doesn't necessarily show how their performance will be after their preparation, but it does give an overall look at maybe what their prep might be in comparison to their opponent and when they like to start making those deep things.
This is the kind of information you're sharing with the players? Because this would be very useful to have if you're a competitor.
It may be. I've shared it with a few players in the past, which, I won't name all the names, but I'm hoping that in the future, players will start to look a little bit more into these deeper statistics about their gameplay.
All right, take us through another one.
Sure. Let's go to speed. This one is just straight up how many seconds per move are each of the players thinking. So Fabi, second most right here, 205 seconds per move. Of course, Darush, 404, which is huge. And then all players are kind of central around this 100 second per move figure.
So are you saying that Fabi is the second slowest in this tournament?
Second slowest. However, look what happens when we look at only the games which each player has won in the U.S. Championship.
And by the way, I just want to note that Elwander Liang is at the other end as the fastest, Aronian and Hans Niemann, the 3 fastest players. So that's fascinating.
Yes. And then, so what happens when they win? Everybody starts to get about even. Fabi and Daru drop down. All the other players think a little bit longer, it seems, on average, but everybody is between that 100-second and 150-second per move.
I'm surprised
range.
to see Ray there and Ray ahead of Fabi on the other chart, because we know Ray is someone who definitely spends a long time thinking. But here we see that he is, well, I guess when he wins, he's a little bit quicker, but he's still one of the slowest. The slowest person on this chart is actually Wesley So, right in the middle. I mean, that's when he wins.
When he's winning.
When he's winning, he's the slowest.
Yes. Well, but you can also interpret this chart as the total amount of time on their clock spent. So Ray will take, a 45-minute think in the beginning of the game, but then he's forced to play in the 30-second increment for the rest of it. And that isn't necessarily shown on this chart because it's mainly looking at the total time spent per game.
So you mentioned that you shared this with some players, and you're not going to give us any trade secrets right now.
Maybe some past commentators, but I have shared with players in the past, just trying to show them how they play and maybe some places where they can improve their games or tackle some opponent disadvantages.
Are you trying to monetize this at all? Or
I'm just doing it for fun for now. I haven't monetized it, but we never know in the future.
I don't know why you wouldn't, as a matter of fact. It's very interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Ben. Really appreciate your digging deep into this.
Question for you, Ben.
Sure.
Bring up that endgame chart for just a moment. Because first of all, I want to say the accuracy is really interesting. But one of the things that when we're playing an endgame, I'm playing an endgame with Maurice, and I'm a little bit unsure of how I should proceed, I may include a repetition or two before proceeding with my plan. So that's a very, very high accuracy rate. But are you allowing for the idea of repetitions? Are you not subtracting because I make a repetition and I'm unsure and I'm gaining time on the clock?
Depending on the evaluation, this might subtract. And in that case, it would not be an accurate representation. However, what I am allowing for, if your repetition is within, let's say, 0.05, 0.04 of an evaluation change, I'm going to go ahead and allow that to be counted as best move.
Yeah,
and if it's a little bit lower and the position's still winning, I'll just take that move out of the equation because it's still a good move.
Right.
And it still deserves to be accounted for, but it's not a best move. Right. So it depends on the certain allowances that I put within the model. For this one, it was just that 0.05 allowance for the next best move.
Right.
But yes, in that case, it might not be the most accurate.
Right. Who came up with the DNA? Who came up with the chess DNA?
Oh, this was the production team.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And I came up with the numbers to put on there, and it's very, very impressive graph.
The chess
to
DNA.
Look at those differences in the player performance.
Fascinating stuff. Keep it up.
Ben, can I have a question about the third graph, the time per move?
Sure.
No, sorry, the next one. Yep. What's happening with Grigory Oparin?
He didn't win. He didn't win a game coming into the championship, so he couldn't get measured.
It's from the previous championship?
It's only about winning games, this particular
I thought you wanted to hide
I
this.
had the same question. I had the same question,
Maybe
too.
I'm working with this player. Let's not show all the secrets.
The reason I know that is because Gregory told me in our interview his goal was to come into this championship and win a game because it was like, and he won 2 already, so it was pretty interesting. Again, Ben,
yeah,
thank
great
you.
Statistics. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Come back.
Fascinating stuff, and I can tell you there's some chess players out there thinking, I got to call this guy up.
Yeah. Put him on speed dial.
Improve my game somehow.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you so much.
And let's just jump back.